In 2002, the world was introduced to Thomas and Friends The Big Live Tour, featuring one-of-a-kind show props. Then in 2018, the world was introduced to them in their current condition.
I can explain everything. Actually, no, I can't.
But how exactly did they build these one-of-a-kind props? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Here's how they built the Thomas prop. The props were built by the BBC Visual Effects Studio. Thomas is being built by the Chris Reynolds side of the company. First I'll talk about the chassis. The wheels as well as the control panel were powered by a part known as the NPC 4200. This was placed on the front or back of the chassis, I'm not quite sure. On the sides of the wheels were smaller wheels which would help Thomas move around bends. Thomas wasn't always moving forward. On the sides of the cab there were levers on each side which would be pulled when turning. Thomas also had a brake and accelerator pedal like a car. On the back of the chassis was a place to add a metal pole as the coupling for the troublesome trucks, as well as the front by the looks of this clip. Steam was accomplished by the machine known as the mkre fogger. Attached to the machine were pipes around the chassis heading to the funnel and the bottom of the buffer beam. On the control panel were buttons to control the smoke. Also on the control panel were an emergency stop button, a power up button, and the face controls. Let's move on to the face. As Chris Reynolds said,
these are all the faces animate, they all move around, they're all made out of a thing called latex foam, which is very, very soft, and it's pulled around and stretched, and that's what gives us the different expressions in this case.
The facial movements were accomplished by that name there, which were placed in different spots around the face. As seen in this video, if you hold the back of the face, the eyes can be moved by hand. Now moving on to the body. The body was made out of wood, then that was used to cast the final fiberglass model, which would then be sprayed with black and tinted on the edges with silver. Holes were cut on the front of Thomas's smoke box saddle, underneath his face, and on the front of his tanks behind his wheels, to give his body shell air to cool down the electrics. Once placed on the chassis, Thomas was 264 centimeters high, 149 centimeters wide, and weighed in at around 65,000 pounds, though it is currently unknown how long Thomas is, but he is larger than Percy. Once he was fully built, Thomas was ready to show the world what he was made of, which he did marvellously. Now, I'm sure many of you are wondering, where is Thomas now? We know the fates of the others, but not Thomas. Well, I'll tell you. Once the show had wrapped up in 2007, the props were purchased by IVS, where they stored them at Southampton before being moved to Greenham. All except Thomas, who the company was trying to sell for 5 years, until IVS gave in and scrapped him on the spot.
All through the night, till I'm far away and free. And when my steam runs out, I'll know that no one will find me. But things are not the same as before. Mistakes I make no one can ignore. I keep my paintwork looking fine. I try so hard to be on time, but I'm not a useful engine anymore. I'm not a useful engine anymore.
Rest in peace, Thomas. Well, that was a fun video to make. I've always had a fascination with the Big and All Aboard live tour, and I'm glad I've finally done a video on it. I want to thank Southern Steamer for his Google Drive of the Big live tour, and James Barnham, who told me much information about the props a few years ago and helped build the Thomas prop. If you'd all like to see another one of these videos, let me know. Maybe on James. Who knows? Thanks for watching.